in Finland. My name's Mike Simpson, and I am honored to be asked to moderate this webinar. I am an independent consulting forester. I'm based in Kamloops, British Columbia, on the unceded territory of the Secwepemc people. Before we go any further, I would like to turn it over to the host organizations just for some opening comments. For Forest Joensuu, Finland, Jukka Maittikainen, and then, or in either order, Aaron Robinson from the City of Quesnel Forestry Innovation Center. So Jukka and Aaron.
Right on, thanks Mike, I'll start. So I'm Aaron Robinson, Forestry Initiatives Manager for the City of Quesnel, and I'm speaking to you today from the unceded territory of the Lataco First Nation. So thanks for giving up your time for being here for the next hour and a half to learn about some cutting-edge technologies from both of our countries. This webinar was organized in part as a result of the Memorandum of Understanding signed between the City of Quesnel and the region of North Karelia in 2023. And it's also partially the result of the relationships that were built during the UBC forestry trip to Finland that took place last year, where 30 forest practitioners from here in BC were graciously hosted for 10 days by our Finnish partners. So the objectives for us today are to foster collaboration between North Karelia and British Columbia, to strengthen relationships and cross-pollination between two forest-dependent regions, to showcase groundbreaking technologies and solutions, and if relevant, highlight potential investment and funding opportunities between the presenters today and other folks on the webinar. Webinars like this are important to provide a platform for innovators and investors that are making changes to the status quo. And although the technologies we will learn about today are in the realm of forestry, they have broad applications, whether it's reducing our reliance on petrochemicals, finding more ecologically sound processes, or making products from what was once considered waste. The people we're going to hear from today, along with their teams, are helping us with the wicked problems facing us no matter where we call home. So I'd like to thank my colleagues at Forest Joensuu for spearheading this event, and also thank you to Mike Simpson for guiding us today. I'll now turn over the floor to Jukka Maittikainen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Erin. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Excellent. So good morning to British Columbia and evening to Finland. My name is Jukka Maittikainen. As the proud brand ambassador of Forest Joensuu in North America, based right here in the beautiful city of Vancouver. It is a big honor to welcome you all to this exciting Innovation Exchange webinar. So for people who don't know what Forest Joensuu is, it is the capital of forestry in Europe and the leading forest innovation ecosystem in Europe. The ecosystem is composed of research organizations, a dynamic university, a vocational training school, and innovative companies dedicated to advancing the forestry sector. So I would like to take this moment to express my deepest gratitude to each one of you joining us today. We had almost 80 registration, and for us it's a big statement that innovation in the forestry sector and collaboration between British Columbia and Finland are of great interest. Our gathering today is a result of a shared commitment to forestry, a commitment that has been formalized through memorandums of understanding at various levels. Finland's forestry partnership with Canada extends to the federal level and provincial level with British Columbia. And as Erin mentioned, last year, a MoU between the Joensuu region and the city of Quesnel in British Columbia was signed. As mentioned earlier, this webinar is co-hosted with the city of Quesnel, where Erin has played a key role, and without her contributions, this webinar would have not taken place. A highlight of our collaborative journey was the visit of 30 forestry professionals to Finland in September. I extend a big thank you to Ken Day and to the University of British Columbia's Jorma Neuvonen and Dominic Verser for orchestrating such a successful and inspiring trip. The visit generated an outstanding amount of excitement, and that's why Forest Joensuu decided to initiate a series of follow-up activities aimed at ensuring that our partnership yields tangible outcomes. One of the key initiatives was to collect feedback from the participants of the September visit. The collected feedback and insights shaped a series of webinars and other engagements designed to explore applicable practices and innovations in our respective regions. Our shared experiences over the past few years have highlighted common challenges, such as the scarcity of fiber, which requires innovative approaches to enhance the value of wood fiber. This journey has been a learning curve, with Finnish counterparts gaining valuable insights from British Columbia's practices and vice versa. It is this mutual exchange of knowledge and experience that brings us together today to brainstorm, to share, and to forge new pathways for collaboration. So we are joined by a diverse group of stakeholders, from corporate leaders and government representatives to investors, researchers, and consultants. We hope to see that today's session will result in new connections, further discussion for collaboration, and create a real-life impact that makes our region stronger and more sustainable. So without further ado, I'm delighted to pass the microphone to Mike Simpson, who will facilitate the rest of our session. Together, let's embark on this journey of shared discovery and partnership. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Aaron and Jukka, for the welcome from the host organizations that are putting this webinar on. And thank you, Jorno, for bringing that up on the screen. So again, for people who maybe have just joined in the last couple of minutes, welcome to the Innovation Exchange webinar. Again, my name is Mike Simpson and I'm based in Kamloops. Nice to see a lot of my British Columbia colleagues online, and also some of the Finns that I met. I was also able to be on that tour last fall and go to Finland for the first time and learn lots. Couple of housekeeping notes and a little bit about how this webinar is going to roll out. It's maybe a little bit different than others. We've got 9 presentations lined up, but just a few housekeeping things first. This session is being recorded, and this recording will be made available to all the people that registered afterwards. So be aware of that if you're a presenter. As Jarno noted, Jukka, I think we have up to 80 people registered. I see 56 online right now. Just again, a reminder for those of you that are participants, there's no verbal Q&A unless we have time. I'm not making any commitments to that. So please keep yourself muted just to avoid any background noise. For presenters, some of you have consented to sharing your slides. We may find a way to get that out to participants after as well. And if you haven't, let Jarno know if you're able to share your slides. We understand if you can't, but if you are able to, that would be another option to get things out. But at minimum, we will get this recording of this webinar out to people. Thank you again to all the participants and everybody for being here. Couple of things then. So for presenters, as you can see on the screen, we've got 9 presentations, and the instructions that I've given to you by email is about 5 minutes each. And so you're each enabled to share your own screen. And I think we've tried it to make sure that the technology works. The 5 minutes will be, because we have so many of you and this is only an hour and a half, I will be monitoring that and watching for time. And what I'm going to do is, I found my dog's bells for during hunting season. When there's 1 minute remaining, I'll ring that bell, and then that's a sign to let you know that you've got about 1 minute remaining. We're not going to cut off your slides if you go into 5.5 minutes, but it's just a sign just to be conscious of the people that come after you and to make sure that we get through everything. So that's for the presenters. For the participants that are on here, because we have 9 presentations and we've designed this in such a short period of time, and I noted there's no verbal questions, the real opportunity and way to engage with the presenters is use the chat, and really use the chat a lot and type in who your specific questions are for, and as a way to connect as well. I will, if we have time towards the end for the Q&A, I think what I'll do is go back, if we have time, I'll go through the questions that I see in the chat, and we'll go through as many as we can, but we will wrap up by 10 o'clock. But the chat is also an opportunity really just for the presenters and those of you as participants to connect as well. And we've also asked all the presenters to make sure that they're very clear in their presentation how can they follow up and connect with you after, whether it's a website, whether it's an email, or whatever. So really, this webinar opportunity is I kind of think of the term speed dating. It's just a short, snappy presentations on 9 different companies that are doing innovative things and a way to connect people. So that's going to be the format. Depending on any technology glitches, and if we have time, I may allow a question or two verbally, but we'll see how we do for time, because I do want to wrap up by 10. So hopefully that's clear for presenters and for everybody in the room as well. Again, for presenters, key things is you've got 5 minutes once you're up and running. This means you got 1 minute left. So without any further ado, you can see on the screen, we've lined up the presentations sort of to go from biomass down to like more, detailed, more specific products. So first off, our first presenter, I'd like to call on, and I'm going to do my best with the pronunciations, Seppo Tassavainen, who's the head of economic and international affairs with Forest Joensuu. So Seppo, I'll ask you to share your screen, and it's over to you.
Thank you, Mike. You did pretty well with my name. All right, so my name is Seppo Tassavainen, and I work for the city of Joensuu as head of economic and international affairs, and also together with Jarno Hämäläinen, who is the technical backup person here. Together with Jarno, we are the official contact persons of Forest Joensuu. And if you want to learn more about the details, you can see our website, forestjoensuu.fi, in this presentation. I have a long history in bioeconomy related matters in Canada. Like Jukka mentioned, Forest Joensuu is the leading forest innovation ecosystem in Europe. And Joensuu is the forest capital of Europe and Finland. We have 600 forest experts in the area, 600 companies, 6,000 jobs, 2 billion turnover in the area altogether. Our ecosystem is also a gateway to global markets. We have cooperation going on to all major forest markets like North and South America, Asia, and Europe, and especially right now with you guys. We also have the world's biggest forest machinery factory here in Joensuu, owned by John Deere Forestry, and we have world-class hub of research, development, and education in the area. So wherever you want to go, so it's practically 10 or 15 minutes, starting from the companies and also to see the forest and forestry operations in action. So that's one reason why we are also a target for several delegations, because it's so easy to see everything here in one place. We have almost 100 organizations in our ecosystem with strong international connections, and you can study this slide later when you get the material, but some of these companies will pitch here later today. So first of all, we have a big certified and sustainable forest resources, mainly owned by private people, which has been the driver to develop sustainable forestry further. We are combining other strengths like photonics and ICT to the forestry. This enables, for example, new ways to prevent forest fires and loss of biodiversity. So what we could do together is knowledge exchange, joint research development and innovation projects. Like Erin mentioned, maybe we can try to find joint funding also. We can pilot new solutions together here in Finland and Canada and develop new products. We need to renew our forest industry because of many reasons, and maybe you will hear about that later. One of aim is also to attract investments to our region, so just to enable the growth. Joensuu targets new energy intensive investments and new bio-based materials. We have several investments in the pipeline, for example, biocoal, green hydrogen factories with carbon capture to catch biogenic CO2, and this enables production of synthetic e-fuels. So, as you know, this war in Ukraine has created or speeded up the development of this kind of biogenic synthetic e-fuel products. But that's all from my side. So if you would like to know more about Forest Joensuu and our ecosystem, please contact me or Jarno Hämäläinen, who is working for Business Joensuu. And Business Joensuu is belongs to the company group of City of Joensuu. Thank you very much, and over to you, Mike.
Great, thanks, Seppo. Very concise and to the point. I didn't even have to ring the bell. You're just under 4 minutes. Thanks very much for that. And I can attest, as being part of the tour, that yeah, it's very impressive, the ecosystem and the network of all the different aspects of forestry, from forest management right through manufacturing and the technology in Joensuu. So thanks, Seppo. Again, folks, just I see one comment going in the chat. Again, just if you're joining late, your real opportunity to connect with people is use the chat or follow up afterwards with Seppo. So next, I'd like to call on Jukka Matikainen, who's the representative of Risupeto in Canada, and he's going to talk about an energy wood harvester. So Jukka, go ahead.
Thank you, Mike. Can you hear okay still?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, excellent. So I'm going to give a quick overview of a very exciting innovation made by a Finnish company called Reformet. Their product is called Risupeto, and it is continuously collecting energy wood and fuel treatment felling head, and it can be considered disruptive technology. I will give a quick introduction to the company and then challenge it is addressing, and then I will present the solution and the possible next steps. Reformet company was founded in 2020, and it specializes in developing and manufacturing forestry equipment. Here on the photo, you can see the product we are talking about for the next few minutes. Its development started a few years earlier, before the company was founded. The inventor and founder is Jani Karvanen, who has more than 20 years of experience in forestry machinery. This product idea was invented to address a shortage of lumberjacks who are willing to work in dense forests with lots of small trees, but at the same time, Scandinavian harvesters are too large and unproductive. In the photos, you can see spruce and birch forests that are very typical work environments in Finland, but naturally this harvesting head can be used in other types of forests too. Reformet is planning to start expanding from Europe to Canada, and we have been thinking that here in Canada it has potential to revolutionize how some wildfire prevention thinnings are done. As most of us know, we have had some record-breaking wildfires in recent years, and some of them are very close to communities. More and more of those communities need to prepare for wildfires by doing some prevention work, and one of them being treatments. For those who don't know the term fuel treatment, basically it means that some selected trees will be harvested, so there is enough space between trees to make the forest less dense, and it also results in less biomass left behind in the ground, so in case of fire it is more controllable. In the left photo, you can see where the fires have been in the last 41 years, and you can see that in BC we have had lots of fires in the interior of BC, where there are lots of communities. This Risupeto harvesting head is designed for fuel treatments and bioenergy wood harvesting of trees between 3/8 and 12 inches in diameter. The head is a disruptive innovation and capable of cutting multiple small trees in one go by a continuously rotating collector mechanism. The head enhances the efficiency and sustainability of small wood harvesting and lowers the cost of fuel treatments and bioenergy wood harvesting. The harvesting head is proven to work in Scandinavia, and it aligns with both environmental stewardship goals and the need for more efficient practices in the forestry sector. This head will have a great environmental impact by enabling a significant increase in the volume of extracted biomass in the fuel treatments and a massive reduction of greenhouse gas emissions, as wildfires are the single biggest source of greenhouse gas emissions in Canada. Fuel treatments of thinning Thinning of young stands improves their durability against pests and diseases. This innovation also has other economic and social benefits. By offering a more efficient harvesting method, the innovation has the potential to create new economic opportunities, including increased local employment and support for small-scale, community-based forestry operations. Let's have a quick video. So to make the solution complete, we have partnered with a Danish company called GreenChip, which makes mobile wheeled chippers that have a big container for the chips. This machine follows the Risupet operator. This makes the solution 2-machine, 1.25 men operation, as this is quicker than the harvesting part. So if this harvesting head or the chipper are something that interests you, we are happy to continue conversation with you. We would like to hear thoughts about the applicability of these innovations to the local environment. If you are very interested in seeing any of these in action, it can be also possibly arranged. If you would like to trial them, let us know and let's see what we can do. There you can see my email address. I will be agent together with Turkalastunen for Reformet here in North America. You can also book a meeting with me through that link on the slide. I also post the link to the chat. And thank you.
Thank you, Jukka. Very interesting, and I can see a lot of applications in British Columbia, as you say, for wildfire or for thinning operations. Thank you for that. And Jukka, there's a couple of questions and comments in the chat already as well. So if you want to address those as well. Thanks, Jukka. So next up, we're going to come to Canada and go to Rob van Adricam, who's the Director of External Relations with the Community Energy Association of Canada, and he's going to give an update on wood fiber insulation as an innovative technology. And folks, if you're just joining, this webinar is being recorded. Please keep yourself on mute unless you're a presenter. Rob.
Thanks very much, Mike. I'm sorry that the names aren't getting any easier for you.
Sorry.
It's a real pleasure to participate in today. I'm really appreciative of the invitation. I'm a big fan of collaboration between the Nordics and BC, and especially Northern BC. I even did one of my courses for my master's degree at the University of Lapland. So it's great to see a lot of familiar faces on the call. And I'm going to take some of my time specifically to acknowledge Aaron and the folks at the City of Quesnel. I think the work in doing this is fantastic. It's really great to see a number of people from Northern BC, including from Prince George, where I am, on the traditional territory of the Tl'itli T'enneh on this call. So thanks very much for doing this. I'm with the Community Energy Association, or CEA, as I'll sometimes refer to it through the presentation. It's a nonprofit that's been established for just over 20 years. We're based in British Columbia, but we have activities going on now across Canada. And we work, really our job is we work at the local level to accelerate actions related to climate and energy. So this work, I hope that this, why isn't my slide advancing? Is it on your side? No? There we go. So this work is really related to a project that CEA led with a group of people. I'll show you them in a second. That was called by the government of British Columbia to explore the potential of wood fiber insulation manufacturing in BC. So I'm not pitching a product per se today. I'm more just providing a brief overview of what we produced for the government late last year or early last year, about a year ago from now. So here's an overview of what I'll be providing today in this presentation. And as I mentioned, CEA was the project manager, but it was this team that did all the work. You'll see a diversity of organizations that were part of this this group, and 4 of us in this group of 7 are from Prince George. And Josh Kelly, third person on this list, I saw him on the call today as well. I don't think anyone else is, but this group really represents a diversity of research and business. So an important part of our work actually just involved assembling information about wood fiber insulation. It's not well known in North America. It is obviously in Europe. So we provided, a big part of our report was just synthesizing information on the characteristics of wood fiber insulation for people that wouldn't be familiar with it. Its performance, its cost, its importance as part of an overall ambition to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions associated with construction. But then moving beyond the characteristics of the product, really we wanted to see, would it be possible to establish a manufacturing facility here? And so we looked at a case study in Europe, and this is the one that we selected, a plant in Germany that produces a variety of products. Many of these products on the screen are what we produce in communities like Prince George and Quesnel. It's just wood fiber insulation that we don't produce. So we wanted to see if this would be possible to create here. And so we looked at this plant in particular. We got in touch with the manufacturer. We basically priced out what a plant like this would cost to be established in British Columbia. How much fiber would it require? How much would it produce? How much labor and transportation would be required? And that was really part of the business case that we put together. So this financial model really involved hundreds of inputs that provided answers to these 2 key questions. Is it viable? And if so, where should it be? I did my master's degree actually on the second question, so I'm not going to get into that at all. But it is nice to see that really the answer to the first question, really looking at a variety of locations, the answer is yes. But that there are a number of factors that really do kind of complicate or need to be considered in terms of understanding how best to initiate a manufacturing facility like this in British Columbia. And the 2 that we saw really as large were fiber supply and then the uptake of the product in the construction market. And these are large but not surmountable barriers. And we felt that they would require a government action. So on that note, some of our final thoughts on the project really specifically relate to how the government could play a role in encouraging wood fiber insulation manufacturing in BC. But I just want to focus on the last one for a second. That, as you recall from the first slide, this was a project that really explored the market assessment or market analysis for wood fiber insulation in BC. But going forward, we feel that there's real value in taking a more holistic approach to the topic. So rather than focus specifically on can wood fiber insulation be manufactured in BC? How would that be? Where would it be located? We thought it would be better to look at it more from an ecosystem perspective, which is really, I think, a perfect alignment with the whole purpose of this session today, that rather than look at wood fiber insulation, think of it more as a product within a range of wood products that could be produced in a community, to really pursue it more from an integrated approach rather than one specific product. And with that, I'll end, Mike, and thank you very much again for the opportunity, and congratulations to everybody who's been involved with organizing this.
Okay, thanks, Rob. Make sure that you put how people can follow up and connect with you. I know this will be recorded, but maybe put that in the chat. And then if there's any questions or follow-up for Rob and the Community Energy Association, put those in the chat as well. Again, for folks that are just joining, the chat, and this is being recorded, will get out to people, but the chat is the main way to follow up with people. And certainly good messages, Rob. I know those of us that went to Finland, you can't do all the sexy stuff without doing the basics. It's all part of a whole suite of projects. Okay, thanks, Rob. So next up is Una Kotilainen, who is the founder of Hill Wood Charring House Limited from Finland. So, Joona, I'm sorry about the pronunciation, over to you to tell us about what you're doing.
That's completely fine. Thank you, Joona. Joona is a great pronunciation. So we come from North Karelia, Joensuu, Kontiolahti, and our company Hill Limited we are a sustainable charring house, and I'm gonna tell you briefly about our product and how we came up with the idea of sustainable wood charring in the first place. So in our background, we are carpenters and cabinet makers. We have a company called Wood Artist, with which we have been working for under 10 years, a bit less than 10 years. And we've been specialized our products and projects in reclaimed wood use. Here on the left, you can see a nice sauna building built from logs that were taken from a lake. They're sunken logs in the lake. And these kind of projects got us known of reclaimed wood use. And that raised a question in the circular economy spheres. About 2 years ago, a person asked my brother Miika, who is also here present today. They asked him a question that, what could you do with the wood that has been utilized in bridge construction? Because there's a specific set of problems there. There's concrete, sand, dust. Could you do something with that? And we started looking into this question, that whether there would be anything and whether there would be enough materials to even start industrial scale operations based on that specific set of wood. And we found out that only in Finland, approximately 1.5 million cubic meters of wood is being incinerated that has been in prior construction use, or that is of inferior quality, that is being produced in sawmills. And the problem here is that people do not find any use for this wood, so they just chip it down and burn it as energy. And we tried to find out what are the main problems here. So with the sawmill and planing industry, there's blue stains, there's poor strength, some branch quality issues. With the construction wood, the problem set is a bit different. But we think that we have found a way to reclaim the wood back into construction use. And the way how we do it is simple. We set it on fire, and we let the fire burn a few millimeters of the wood surface. That basically cures it of sand and concrete. And when we wash the wood, we can get beautiful black surface without the concrete and dust. Of course, we need to, if we are using this construction wood waste, then we need to take care of nails and metal and this kind of stuff. But the concrete and sand has been the largest problem in the use of construction wood. And this is basically our approach to the whole charring wood. We are trying to be as sustainable as possible. So raw materials, they are from industry side streams. We are only utilizing biofuel for the incineration process, for the charring process. All the competition, I think, is using fossil fuels. And we are currently calculating our CO2 levels. How much of an impact can we make with this? We should get the numbers crunched during this spring. And with our business, we are aiming for kind of industrial scale. So we now have one piloting demo factory, but we want to build up more lines and more factory capabilities, because there is a lot of material around that could be utilized better. And the charring that we do is actually an ancient old method. They developed it in Japan, and it goes under the name yakisugi or shosuki-ban in Japan. But it actually has a very nice benefit for the wood. It could be considered a natural surface treatment. So basically we get a better water resistance on the surface of the wood. We also get better protection from molds and insects, because we burn away all the material that is interesting to the pests. We basically can preserve it better. And we have done thousands of hours of charring. We have yet to face a wood material that wouldn't burn. Essentially, we have found out that we can char any type of wood, and we can focus on circular economy wood materials in our business. And we can get lots of different textures on it. And we have also worked on several projects already with our piloting equipment, working on some huts and marketplace buildings and so on. And I'm running out of time, but a couple of questions for you, or a couple of ideas for you to help us. We are currently looking for customers for the wood materials. Also, we are looking for investors. We want to build a larger factory here in Finland, first of all, potentially later abroad. And within the next couple of years, we are also aiming for international markets. So any contacts from abroad would be helpful. So this is our company. You can find us on the web at heal.fi/en and at handle Heal Materials from all the social media channels. So this is all. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Una. Yeah, thanks for putting that up there. If you want to put how to contact you in the chat as well for people, but again, this recording will go out to people.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. Just a comment, as a forester, we're used to talking about putting fire on the land and restoring forest, but this is the first I've heard of putting fire on the finished product. So very interesting, but beautiful looking products. Thanks, Una. So next we're kind of going to come back to Canada. I want to call on Owen Miller, who's the president of Deadwood Innovations. And I believe, Owen, do you have a co-presenter with you as well, Dr. Joensuu, talking about turning low-quality fiber into high-value wood products? Owen.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Yeah, Dr. Zhu will jump in here partway through the presentation, but yeah, I'm Owen Miller, a co-founder, and I recently changed my title to CEO as our team is growing. I'm not the president anymore, which is good. More of a narrowed focus. All right, so yeah, Joensuu Zhu is a professor at the Wood Innovation Research Lab. We've created a partnership with UNBC about a year ago to develop and ultimately commercialize the technology we've built together. Deadwood Innovations is partnered with Nikasley Development Corporation, which is near Fort St. James, British Columbia. If you look at that infographic on the map there in the bottom right, Nikasley Traditional Territory is roughly the size of Vancouver Island, so it's a large area. There's a lot of fiber there. I push back against the narrative that we're running out of fiber in this province for forestry. There's a lot of fiber left, but when the entire industry is built on primary breakdown of premium spruce and pine, that's the issue. It's a quality issue and a species issue. So, from log right to the end product in the home and all the science in between. We're looking to extract more value and reduce emissions in forestry through the upgrading of underutilized species such as aspen and lower value, lower quality softwood lumber. So just a quick overview of our project that we're operating right now. So since 2020, we've been pulling our hair out and getting bloody knuckles and keeping a pilot plant operational and manufacturing the data. But it has been a successful journey so far, and the technology has evolved, the product has evolved, but where we've landed in the product that we're going to commercialize is a densified and stabilized lumber product. So we'll be upgrading lower quality spruce pine like economy and number 3 grade. And then, of course, the aspen as well. And when you densify and stabilize the lumber product, it gets stronger and it's suitable for applications outdoors, such as decking, siding, furniture, and of course, another target market is industrialized housing or mass timber, prefabricated housing. So the utilization of aspen and lower value, lower quality commodity lumber products will be novel as well for the manufacturing of prefabricated home kits. All right, Dr. Zhu, you want to take this one?
Okay, yeah. So I'm Jian Hui from University of Northern British Columbia, located in Prince George, which is like 1 hour drive north of Quesnel. And actually, we are located in downtown Prince George, housed in the first modern tall wood building in North America. And then we also have a wood innovation research lab constructed with wood. And our focus here is in innovative wood products, and especially for construction and building applications. So because like nowadays, I think in Canada and also globally, we heard so many like news and the frustrations about housing, right? Either remote rural areas and urban city centers. So the solution to that, in our opinion, is prefabricated wood construction or industrial wood construction. And and then the collaboration with Deadwood Innovation is a great example, because we want to utilize like underutilized or unmerchandised merchandisable species like aspen, which is not used a lot in current building sector. So we also want to leverage digital design, prefabrication, and mass timber technology to provide housing solutions first to local, and then maybe we can involve and then maybe provide the solution to the global housing needs. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, so just a quick note here on our development. So the Tolo upgrader is the scale up, the commercialization of our current pilot plant with Nikosley. And we're looking to have shovels in the ground this summer. You know, what's my primary focus right now is the fundraising efforts. It's about a $30 million project to scale that pilot up. You know, we are in the process of securing customers, and for the offtake that does not go into the mass timber home kits. We're also developing a project in Saskatchewan. That's in the early stages of the pre-feasibility and feed or front end design. And we're also in the early stages of another project in British Columbia, and then pursuing opportunities in the US with Southern Yellow Pine, and in Chile with radiata and eucalyptus. You know, down there's a staining problem in the fiber as well, and through densification and stabilization, you can improve the qualities of all those species. So interesting opportunities ahead, and lots of work, but yeah, we're going for it. So it's pretty exciting. And then just a quick slide here on some of the partners and stakeholders that have supported us along the way. We work very closely with Natural Resources Canada and the province of British Columbia. And not just UNBC, but UBC's helped out along the way. And yeah, thank you very much. Feel free to ask questions in the chat. Be glad to take them.
Great. Thanks, Owen and Junhee. Yeah, make sure you put Owen in the chat how people can follow up with you and connect. Thanks very much for that. Very interesting. Next up, where are we? I want to call on Richard Chen, who's the CEO of Planty Bioplastics, and he's going to talk about rigid construction insulation from low-value forest biomass. Richard, over to you.
All right. I hope everyone can hear me fine.
Yep.
So as Mike said, my name is Richard. I'm from Planty Bioplastics, and let me pull that. I'm from Planty Bioplastics, and I'm going to be presenting our work on forest residue-based construction foam insulation. Now, who are we? We're a material technology development company founded in 2018, where our company's slogan is re-engineering nature's building blocks. Now, nature is pretty close to perfect, but there are cases where we can shape things taken from nature to meet our needs. And in this particular project, we're taking low-value fiber and using it in high-value applications. More specifically, rigid thermal construction insulation, or as Rob put it very nicely, wood fiber insulation. And we are targeting expanded polystyrene in both performance and cost. And by doing this, we're making energy efficient constructions more sustainable and also more accessible to a wider market. And at the same time, we're also looking to store the carbon within these constructions for 50 years or more. So how do we do it? As you can see here, we take low value forest industry byproducts such as sawdust, bark, flash,
just to jump in, Richard, I don't
and
see
this can be
slides
from
advancing.
multiple tree species that we've tested. We mill them down to size. We foam them with a couple of additives, we
Rob?
shape and trim,
Richard,
dry,
sorry,
and then
Richard?
pack. So as you
Richard,
can see,
I don't see your
process
slides
is very
advancing.
simple. And we found that it has to be in order for us to compete with EPS in price, because the more steps we add on, the higher the cost, and of course, the more carbon emission gets added on. This is a process that we came up with in lab scale, and also the same process that we utilizing in commercial production, just with much bigger tanks. And this is here is the prototype that we produced thus far. And that's basically a close-up of a big 1 meter by 1.5 meter panel.
Richard, I'm just trying to get your attention. I don't see your slides advancing.
A process and formulation that has a very high wet foam stability. As you can see here, this is the conveyor belt on the pilot work. And the wet foam there has very clean edge, which means that the entire slab becomes very easy to manipulate. And what's interesting is that we set out to create 1-inch thick foam panels that we think will eventually glue to make thicker sheets.
I don't think he can see you
we're
either.
able to make
He must be in presentation
more than
mode.
3-inch thick panels, and likely able to produce even higher thickness. And our this pilot work has been able to achieve about 2,000 ton of production per year. So how does our foam compare to some of the other construction installation? As I mentioned before, we're aiming the price target of expanded polystyrene. We're looking at potentially aiming for lower pricing. We have a higher R value compared to EPS, and it's similar to rock wool. High water vapor permeability, which means that it's breathable, and that prevents moisture accumulation. It's also carbon negative, based on our kind of preliminary GHG emission calculations. High compressive strength, and we also have a density of about 70 to 100 kilogram per meter cube, which provides a decent thermal mass. So what's next for us? As you can see there, we're looking to essentially build our first facility, which is we're in the process of designing and fundraising for our first commercial demonstration facility that's able to produce about 15,000 tons of fiber that will deliver to the Pacific Northwest region. And this is done in collaboration with the Yinka Dene Economic Development Limited Partnership, or YLP for short, and a joint venture. And that will be a 51% First Nation ownership. And I can't take full credit for this because it was inspired by Owen and Deadwood. This facility is going to be hosted at a pulp mill brownfield site. And location is still being secured, so we can't disclose where it is yet. But because it's a partnership with pulp mill, we'll be looking to use byproduct of their process, which is mainly bark and fines, and we're targeting for 2027 completion. Team member Prashant is our scientific officer. Myself, Prof, our chemical engineer, and we have a team. Didn't have time to pull all the logos, so I figured rather than have a mismatch of different things, just the names. What we're looking for: strategic partners, investors, early prototype testers that's willing to play with our product, and really anyone who enjoys coffee, tea, beer, wine, is willing to have a chat with us. And this is where you can find me. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Oh, now we're on your last slide. So Richard, I was trying to get your attention. Actually, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes. We couldn't see your slides advance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You couldn't hear us. A couple of us were trying to get your attention. So because it was all going too smooth, because we're a little ahead of schedule, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes if you want to go back and just show anything on your slides. Great presentation, but if you want to try to make sure that we see what your content was, we can give you a couple of minutes.
Yeah, let me see if I can figure out how to share it properly this time. Does it show now?
Yeah, now we can see it. That's better.
Okay.
So maybe 2 minutes, just anything you really want to highlight.
The process where we're taking sawdust bark / fines from multiple wood species. We're milling them, foam, shame, trim, dry, pack. So very simple process, right? That's the foam there, close up of the large panels. We have the pilot work, and that's the very stable foam at about 8 centimeters, so about 3 inch in thickness. Property values where, as you can see, price parity with EPS, our value that's comparable with some of the ones in the market. High moisture vapor transmission, 0 CO2 emission, actually negative. Good compression and density, and the kind of targeting the geographical area that we're targeting, and yeah, the team.
Okay. And that's how to contact you. Okay, thanks, Richard. So somebody was asking in the chat, this is being recorded and it will be shared. But Richard, if you want to make sure you can put in the chat how people can find you. So thanks, Richard. I knew it was going too smooth. That was our first technical glitch. Next up, we're going to stay in Canada before we go back to Finland. I'm going to call on Mark Rabin, who's the president of Carbon IP, and he's going to talk about lignin-based hard carbon utilized as a replacement for graphite in batteries. So, Mark, over to you.
Good morning. Let me see if I can get my slides working properly here. Let's do this. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in this morning. I'm Mark Rabin, and I'm the president of Carbon IP Technologies. And yeah, I'm excited to tell you more about our trees to batteries proprietary technology made from lignin. This one's a little bit of a deeper tech play here. So Carbon IP is an advanced materials technology company focused on developing a lignin-based hard carbon, as well as activated carbon to be utilized in the graphite anodes of lithium-ion and sodium-ion batteries, as well as ultracapacitors, which is the activated carbon side. Lignin is a complex organic polymer found in trees and is produced as a byproduct of the pulp and paper process. Our research has shown that our renewable lignin-based hard carbon has equivalent or better electrical properties than existing mined or manufactured graphite supplies and is produced with overall lower environmental impact. It's typically blended with the natural and synthetic graphites at the battery OEM to create a unique battery characteristics such as operating at lower temperatures or faster charging and a variety of other different properties. And our customers are predominantly medium to large battery OEMs for electric vehicles, as well as smaller lithium-ion battery manufacturers that producing batteries for all types of other specialized products. As you know, batteries are at the core of the energy transition, and graphite makes up 20 to 30% of each battery by weight. And most of us don't realize it, but every EV has around 70 to 90 kilograms of graphite in it. And Carbon IP is extremely well positioned to produce a renewable graphite alternative that's environmentally safe, cost effective, and also secure to acquire here in Canada, North America, as well as in Europe. And demand for graphite is expected to grow 5x over the next 30 years or so, which is huge. And also, China controls about 90% of the battery grade graphite out there. So this is also a critical minerals play. We're seeing this as well a lot in the Scandinavian countries. There's a lot of emphasis on battery passports and critical minerals. Here's a quick snapshot of our continuous furnace and thermal process, as well as a simplified flowchart and SEM image of our hard carbon. Our high quality lignin-based electrode grade materials have been validated, extremely energy efficient, and are actually outperforming natural and synthetic graphite. We're leveraging about 15 years of research and know-how, and we've developed a number of patents pending globally in our process. And some of the high-level takeaways We do about 3 to 1, so 3 tons of dry lignin produces about 1 ton of hard carbon, which is actually quite high yield. We're about half the thermal energy required to get to full carbonization, and we can also go almost net zero if we use clean hydropower versus natural gas to power our kilns. And I said our temperatures are actually very low compared to synthetic graphite, so around 12 to 1500 degrees C versus 25 to 3000 degrees C. And at commercial scale, our processing facility is expected to produce around 3,000 tons of hard carbon annually. And we'd love to explore setting up a facility in Quesnel right next to the new lignin production facility that may be coming to Quesnel. So we have some great key collaborators in categories of feedstock supply and battery offtake, manufacturing, and technology development and processing. We've been working with West Fraser to get their lignin. That was in Hinton. They've packed up that facility here and are looking for a new place to put that. So we're hoping that it gets to Quesnel or somewhere in the region. But we're working with other pulp and paper and forestry companies in Latin America, like Klabin and Suzano and CMPC. They're all very keen to find secondary markets and other markets for their lignin, which right now lignin is either burned as a waste product or it's used in polymers and sort of glues and so on. We also have companies like Maxwell Technologies, Molicel, Novonix, and so on. So there's a lot of appetite for sustainable battery materials, and we're seeing a great traction here in North America, and that's our focus, is really the North American market. And so what are we looking for? Always open to partnerships on the supply and offtake side. So that would be lignin providers and pulp and paper companies that are looking to bring lignin to new market opportunities. Looking at battery OEMs, that's actually where the market is. This is a B2B play with this product here. We believe that Quesnel is an ideal spot for a lignin processing facility, so that's something that we're working on, and I know that there's a lot of great folks working on it in the background as well. And then for us, it's also important that Carbon IP's business and facility be next to the fiber supply, so that's an opportunity as well for economic development and stimulation in the region. And we'll be kicking off a fundraising round in late 2024, or at least exploring that. So happy to chat further. And yeah, that's everything. Thanks for your time.
Great. Thanks, Mark. Make sure that, again, this will get out to people, but maybe you just put how people can follow up with you in the chat for afterwards. Thanks, Mark. So we've got two more presentations, folks. Next, I want to call on Henry Van Hanen, who's the co-founder of Meliki Nordic, and this is premium skincare ingredients from Finland. So Henry, over to you.
Thanks. Can you see my screen?
Not yet on my end.
Okay. Trying to share content. And it says we couldn't access your camera.
Jarno, this is where I call on Jarno.
Kindly asking Jarno, so can you share my slides, please? So yes, while we're starting this, so thanks, Mike, for introducing me, and thanks for Jarno and Business Joensuu for inviting us to tell about a little more about our company. So I'm Henry Van Hanen. I'm the owner of Meliki Nordic.
Henry, just before you go any further, I just want to make sure that Jarno is able to get your slides up, because I don't see anything yet. So we'll pause for a second.
Okay,
there we go.
Many thanks, Jarno.
Okay.
So first slide, thanks. I'll say when to change the slide. So the first slide, thanks. So Meliki Nordic is the company. We are based here in North Carolina. Our office in Joensuu Science Park, but our factory, bigger facilities, are in Rääkkylä, just about 50 kilometers from here, Joensuu, across the lake. We have 5 owners. All have a research background. And this bit differs from the other products that we have seen. So please, next slide. So in our product and values of our company, we want to raise and combine the mythology of Finland and also the hardcore science and research. Mielikki is a forest goddess, a strong woman who knew all the healing herbs of the forest. She, of course, healed the animals of the forest, and if humans treated fairly the nature, she also healed human. And we want to combine this mythology with modern knowledge of the raw materials that we can find from the forest and take them into really high value end products like cosmetic ingredients. Next slide, please. There's a huge demand on the market for natural, functional, sustainable, and health promoting products and ingredients. And sorry for Canada, but there's huge demand for especially Nordic products. And with our product, we address the market. Please, next one. Our product is WoodSense. It's an Arctic ingredient, so it has its power from the Arctic nature. We do only business-to-business sales. Our product is in a powder format, and we provide it in powder format to our customers, which use it in the final formulations of their products. So we don't use end products for consumers, but provide raw material for the cosmetic companies. Next slide, please. So uniqueness in WoodSense is from the Arctic origin. The nature is really harsh up here. And it affects all the raw materials from the chemical compounds to the structure. And the environment, of course, is clean and sustainable technology we use in the production. Next slide, please. In our product, we combine both the wooden compartment and also we use fungi in our product. So we combine the best antioxidant compounds and bioactive compounds from the Arctic fungi in one single extract. Our product has strong anti-inflammatory effect and really strong intracellular antioxidant effect. Next slide, please. We've been touring around the world in fairs, getting customers. So we've been in the fairs in Europe and also in North America. Next slide, please. A big aid for the conquering of the world, getting our business up, came from Staff Me Up competition by Business Joensuu, where we won the first prize, over 100,000 euros as investments and a cash prize. So that's really big thanks for Business Joensuu for helping our early step in our path. And next, please. Unfortunately, I cannot access for some reason, the conversation, so I cannot see what questions you might ask. But the slides that will be shared, I'll add our QR tag, so you can find our website easily by Mielikki Nordic. Google that, and also LinkedIn page. And we are especially looking at partnerships in the production and in investments. So if you are interested in us, so please contact. We are open to any inquiries.
Great, thank you, Henry. So Henry has noted he can't see the chat. Henry, what I'm going to do is, as he noted, people can just Google Meliki Nordic, but also I'll put the email that's provided, info@melikinordic.com, in the chat just for people to follow up. So thanks very much. And thanks, Jarno, for sharing the slides. For Henry, our last presentation, folks, and then I think as long as it goes well, we might have some time to verbalize some questions. Our last presentation is Lauri Sikinen, who's a principal scientist with Luca, and he's going to talk about the Natural Resources Institute of Finland and natural antivirals that are being produced. So, Lauri.
Thank you, Mike. Good morning, good evening, dear friends of forest bioeconomy. Henry had really nice presentation about Mielikki Nordic, and that was kind of really positive. But I will start now with a bit negative news, so that basically the genre is a bit same things what we can find from forest, but now antivirals. So we have just recovered from COVID but we must be prepared for the next pandemic, which is most probably coming sooner or later. There has been several in the history, and COVID was the latest big one, about 7 million victims of that, and we have 25% chance of another pandemic within next 10 years, and we should be prepared for that as well as possible. And here is one alternative for that: natural antivirals, multifunctional ingredient from Finnish forests for the fight against viruses. So that this is what I'm presenting. This is patented innovation of Luke, Natural Resources Institute Finland, and the University of Jyväskylä. We were working in joint project and have been creating these patented natural antivirals compound product. And these traditional solutions, what we have for against bacteria and viruses, they usually are a bit harmful for the environment. They can be pretty harsh for the skin. Ethanol does not kill all viruses. Ethanol, which is really commonly used in those traditional solutions, and quite many traditional solutions also increase antimicrobial resistance. And we really need more eco-friendly and safer alternatives to support human and animal welfare. Our laboratories have been developing a liquid solution which reduces the load of different types of viruses on skin and on surfaces, so that this is not only for cosmetics or basically this is multi-use ingredient which can be used in order to fight against viruses. And it has been already tested so that it is a broadly acting antiviral efficacy, and we can of course deliver these research and test results for more detailed results for all of those who are interested about this. And this ingredient is really potential to save lives against Entero, Rota, Corona, Zika viruses. The safety standard is really high. It's bio-based and biofermented, patent pending, and it has skincare benefits, and it can add value for brands. Here is also the illustration about the where it is compared with these traditional solutions, so that there is high efficacy against viruses and then the low chemical load, so that when compared to others, they really can be seen as benefits. What we need now is that we need to test this product a little bit more in order to be ready to scale it up for the next level. We need funding for the next steps. We need to do some safety testing more, then more trials about the power against harmful microbes, and then we need some funding for a spin-off, and we don't have exact estimation about the needed funding. There is some alternatives or some options which may affect to the needed funding, but definitely we are on that kind of stage that they will be really fruitful and an interesting future coming if we find potential partners. So this is the team which is behind the natural antivirals, and as you can see, my name is not there, and the reason is that I'm backupping Riikka Linnakoski, who is the leading researcher of this innovation, so that Riikka unfortunately wasn't able to give this pitch, and then I promised to give this, so that's why I'm a bit scrambling with my words in this, because I'm not really the expert on this topic, but definitely if you are interested about this innovation, you can be in touch with me or directly to Riikka Linnakoski or other business Forest Joensuu members like Seppo or Jarno. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thanks, Lauri. Excellent. So folks, that concludes our 9 presentations. We've got some time for questions, and I think because we're doing okay for timing, I'm actually going to see if people in the audience want to. There's some questions in the chat, but if you want to raise your hand, we might have time for a couple of people to verbalize questions. So any questions based on what you've heard today, any opportunities, feel free to raise your hand. It's up at the top on Teams. But I'm going to start off. I'm going to ask a question of all our presenters just briefly, just to reiterate. So Seppo, Jukka, if he's still here, Rob, Una, Owen, Richard, Mark, Henry, and Lauri. Just if you want to reiterate what your ask is, what's your pitch to this group if you have one? And what I mean by that is sort of what's limiting your success, like for your business or for your project or your product. What's limiting? Is it market access? Is it access to raw material? Is it funding and capital? Is it time to test things out? So in any order, I'll just feel free to jump in if you just want to reiterate your pitch or what's limiting you from taking your initiative to the next step. Una, go ahead.
Yeah, I can go first. We had 3 asks, and most important, I would say, is the market, is the customers. So whatever large-scale building projects would need the use of circular economy-based materials, that is what we are looking for. And if we are able to get more customers, we will also get higher valuation. So for looking forward to our next investment round, we would like to get more customers to be more valuable also at that stage. So that is currently the limit of our business.
Okay, so the market access, and again, that's Una from the wood charring house.
Yes.
Maybe raise your hand as well if you want to reiterate your pitch or just clarify what's limiting you. Okay, or maybe that's a question. Oh, hold on. You're muted, Turka.
Yeah, okay. I would like to mention a couple of things of Risupeto because Jukka is leaving. He has to go US border and I will represent him. Or we are actually working together with that Risupeto. I have been about 2 years very close watching what they are doing, and I have 40 years experience of harvesting heads. So this is one of the best innovation, and I think I know BC quite well also, or whole Canada. I look forward hearing your comments more about the Risupeto. How do you see it? For my understanding, it's an excellent product for fuel management, but also bioenergy. topics, and it's really easy to attach. It's actually more suitable product for North America, Canada than to Finland, because it is excavator is typical based on that. In Europe, we don't have so much excavators in forest. Nowadays, more and more with Risupeto. But if you want to point out something, I really appreciate that.
So Turkka, what I think you're saying is access to North American markets would be key for Risupeto.
Yeah. It's very good. Yeah.
Okay. Lowry, do you want to reiterate sort of what the limiting factor is for you?
Yeah, just really briefly, I also want to mention about Risupeto, because our institute has been studying quite much that innovation. So that I can tell you that we have a lot of different kind of innovations to be tested and evaluated, and for a long time this Risupeto has been that kind of let me say really positive surprise actually. So that it is really interesting and good machine. And from us, you can get also that kind of research results concerning that. But what comes to the natural antivirals, we need two things, or basically we need one thing, which is a partner. That kind of company which would be willing to partner with us, who see that this idea of producing natural antivirals and adding them, including them in their products, and of course by that also bringing in capacity to develop that innovation a bit further, and or convince financiers that, hey, this is something what we would like to study further and develop with Luke. That is what would be really welcome for us.
Okay, so you're looking for a partner and capacity. Yeah. Before I go to Henry, Richard from Planty had to leave, but he put in the chat for Planty Bioplastics they're looking for partners, potential investors, early adopters. Henry, what's limiting you, and do you want to reiterate what your needs are?
So for raw material and production, we are quite self-sustainable. So that is clear, but marketing and sales are still like that we focus on the pre-seed investment we got in, but for the next round, a round, so we need a bigger amount to grow, and could cover more continents than Europe and Asia.
So marketing, sales, no problem with raw material. Okay, Mark, for Carbon IP, just to reiterate your ask, or what's your limiting factor?
Yeah, thanks. I mean, we're trudging along. I mean, a lot of this stuff takes time, right? That's the main thing. Time is the limiting factor, and also, you know, the machines and our ability or throughput is that. So we're working on that, upgrading our machines, getting larger machines, and getting things moving on that end. You know, we're always looking for strategic partners. That's biggest one, who want to test our hard carbon and activated carbon products. So that's going to be the largest one. And the other one is obviously we would love to have lignin in BC, and that helps us to make the business case to be here in BC as well. So that's going to be probably the single biggest factor is access to lignin.
Access to lignin and a few other things, time as well. Thanks, Mark. Any other presenters want to weigh in? I don't see any other hands. Just to reiterate their pitch. Mark, is that a new hand? Old hand?
Nope.
Okay. Okay, if not, and I know we might have lost a couple of people already. I don't see any other hands up, but I want to open it up if there's any questions from, we'll be able to maybe entertain one or two short questions from participants. Not seeing any, because I told people that we're not doing it. Dominic, go ahead.
Question for Turkka. Do you have, or is one of those machines already in North America, or how soon would we be able to organize a trial if we find a few people that would be interested?
I already sent 5 minutes ago an inquiry to manufacturer. So I don't have the answer right now, but we will come back to that. We have a target to have this in demo 24 in September, and before that maybe do some demos, but we can maybe accelerate. But give me some time and I will let you know. And somebody else has asked also from Williams Lake. So
Yeah.
let's wait. But
Yeah.
thanks for interest.
Yeah, no, that for sure. And I think, you know, we the people that are involved are all, I think we should be working on the same project and try to do a demo, whether it's in Williams Lake or the Three Rivers Community Forest. It's all fairly close connected.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
And Three Rivers Community Forest is in Quesnel, so the hub of where we're trying to do a lot of this innovative stuff. Thanks, Dominic. Any other questions from the participants for any of our presenters? Or general, you know, thoughts on sort of what are the opportunities you're seeing here? A lot of really innovative products and things being done on both sides of the Atlantic. Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions. So with that, oh, Rob's got his hand up. Did you want to reiterate your pitch?
No, I just actually want to ask a question about what the future is. There's a fantastic group of people on this call, and I'm just wondering if this is if you're thinking, Mike and Aaron and the Joensuu folks, is this a bit of a network that you're trying to sustain over a period of time? I think this is great. I'd love to see more of this, and just really want to applaud you for doing this.
Aaron, do you want to weigh in on that? Because I know we've lost Yuka.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. I really appreciate that. And thanks to everyone that participated and the amazing presenters. My phone has been buzzing with texts of people super excited about making connections. So I don't have a solid answer, Rob, or a roadmap of what we're going to do next. But yeah, the collaboration will continue for sure. And I'd love to see another one of these webinars. We weren't sure how it would be received. So I think this has been very, very good. Jarno, do you want to comment?
Yeah, just hello everyone. So just from my side, that of course, let's say this is the series of the webinars we have had, and it started really in September after your visit. So anyway, we wish to, let's say, continue, let's say, exploring together and let's say growing this network and maintaining the network, and we definitely look forward to, of course, visit there in Canada, for example, demo exhibition in autumn. But as well, we will organize few events here in Joensuu, for example, Forest Joensuu event 2025. So you're most welcome to join that event, and we will share information about that event later. And I can see that there has been some like research and development opportunities, let's say, discussed in the chat there. So I think let's keep on following those. Thanks.
Yeah. So I want to go to our last question. I see Mark has his hand up, and then we'll wrap it up. We're about 9:54 by my watch. Mark.
I was just going to ask Mark Robin if they use pyrolysis in their process to produce their carbon graphite.
Yes.
Okay. And do you use gasification then, so that you and what are you doing with the hydrogen?
Yeah, so we have a variety of proprietary treatments and souping gas treatments and micronization treatments. Various from nitrogen to oxygen, hydrogen. We're playing with all the different gases as well, but our main thing is trying to make it as efficient as possible with the least cost and least burden on our production. We can also make it basically net zero as well with hydropower in British Columbia, of course. But today we're using natural gas. We're still in small batch right now, so the leap to sort of larger scale production and scale up is going to be one of our key challenges and opportunities. But that's sort of where we're at today. For a more technical,
follow up with you on that. Thank you.
Yeah, please do. And if you have any more technical questions, we can also bring in our technical team.
Great. Thanks for that question, Mark. And just to wrap up, I think maybe we'll look at wrapping it up. Yeah, to the question about are these going to continue? You know, Dominic and a few others and we presented to Forest Professionals BC last week. There was a lot of interest from our other forest professionals in BC. So I think that these, discussions and collaborations are going to be ongoing for sure. Very lastly, I want to say thank you to all the presenters for presenting today. And again, remind you that if you're able to share your presentations, please get them to Jarno. If you can't, we understand if there's anything proprietary. But again, this recording, Jarno will get that out to everybody that was here. Thanks to all the participants who joined as well. And giving up your time. And again, this link will get out. If you didn't catch it all, you can watch it all later. And thanks again to Aaron from City of Quesnel and to Jarno and Jukka and Seppo and everybody that helped organize this. And again, I was brought in a couple of weeks ago to ask to moderate, and so I'm honored to be able to help to do that and reconnect with all of you. So have a great rest of your evening or day, depending on where you live, and we'll be in touch. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, bye.
Thanks, Mike.
Bye.
Have a nice day.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.